this is a process where you really need an advocate in the room. You need an advocate with you at every step. Phyllis Walden, and I'm in the midst of a big life transition here.
Before we started working together, what were your biggest concerns or challenges about finding an independent living community?
Well, I felt overwhelmed by the whole process, and I really didn't want to be bombarded with aggressive marketing. And I'd heard friends say that, once you put your name on to get information online, it doesn't stop. The phone calls start, the emails, and pressure. And I wanted to really sort out, I didn't even know what kinds of options were out there. And to even start by looking at one facility and didn't make sense. And I was fighting. In fact, I still, it's really hard. And when I introduced myself the first night at a dinner to a couple of new people that were having dinner with me, I said, I never thought I'd be in a place like this. And they both told their stories about how they never expected to be in an independent living, or they never expected not to be able to live on their own the way they'd always lived. And so that was an underlying thread that has been with me the whole process. And in those initial days of starting to realize that with the health changes I was going through, I really needed a safer place where I didn't have stairs to navigate, where I could get assistance if and when I needed it. So that was kind of what I was going through. It just felt so enormous to me. And it turned out to be pretty enormous. I had to kind of reevaluate my whole life.
How did Sage Lifestyle Concierge especially address those concerns and make the process easier for you?
Oh, there were a lot of things that you did. First, just the thoughtful listening initially and assessing what I was seeking. And I felt heard, and I was really glad that you managed all the contacting and scheduling, and that gets pretty complex when you're working with, people who have professional schedules. And even though I'm retired, I have a pretty busy schedule, and we had to work with your schedule, and that made things easier. It helped to have you in meetings when I was talking to the people at various facilities, because I didn't always remember everything, and you had questions too, and I could pull back and listen, and that was real important to me to get a sense of who this person was here. And your advocacy within the meetings was very helpful, and particularly being able to debrief and review. Usually we were able to do that immediately after, certainly within 24 hours if we couldn't talk just by phone. And you remained in contact in a gentle way without being intrusive, but checking in and kind of honoring my pace through this. I never felt rushed, and I felt really supported.
What aspects of our service did you find most valuable?
Well, I found that initial interview helpful because you asked questions to draw me out about things that maybe I hadn't thought about in terms of what I was needing or wanting. And then fairly quickly getting a chart of, I think, 5 or 6 places that could work, that fit those criteria. And then being so attentive to the logistics and scheduling. I think, you were flexible because in the midst of this, we had a situation with a change with respect to my friend that I wanted to be close to, and I had to put my search on hold, and you helped me with her needs, and that was an unexpected need that arose that you were just able to flow into and help me with. And again, your flexibility and letting me go with this at my own pace. I think I realized pretty early in the process that I had to really look at my values and sort through where I am at this stage of my life and how to make sure that this move is a continuity with who I am and where I've been and where I want to be. And that just took lots and lots of thinking and meditating and figuring out. And I'm glad that I took the time to do that. And I'm glad that I wasn't primarily working with salespeople, but with an advocate for me.
Looking back, what's one significant way Sage Lifestyle Concierge brought value to your search that you might not have achieved on your own?
Well, I think part of it is, a big piece of it is the flexibility that I didn't, and being accepting of my own pace, and that I was going to do this in my own time. And I think what was extraordinarily valuable is the network that you have. And in one conversation, the woman gave me a resource that really changed the life of my best friend, who has some issues and needed to move from the place where she was. And that was not part of it was part of my search, but it was just one of those, the universe gives you what you need at the moment you need it. And what was required to get that moment is a network of experts, and that particular person had the expertise in senior living options that serve both my needs and my friend needs, and you brought us together. So when I most needed professional advice, you put together a meeting where I kind of had an instant solution to a big problem.